open if you have a question for him, because he was elected at large, so he'll take questions from any district.
Absolutely.
941-206-1580, toll free 888-441-1580. Kind of moving over to Parkside, that doesn't seem to be a lot going on with that we've heard about, that we've read about. What is happening there?
Well, I think that the overall effect is still out there. I'm hoping that as the lake and the waterway get cleaned up out there, and there's been some some drug busts out in the area. They're continuing to try to clean up the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. There's buildings or homes that have been demolished because they're in bad shape, bad condition, unsafe, what have you. And I think that the process, these redevelopment areas take a long time unless you have somebody who comes in and says, I'm going to buy a block and restart it, or what have you. So, I think it's going to take some time to see major effect. The hospitals are, from my understanding, are going to be investing a significant amount of money into the area that will help, and of course the road project for Harbor. I don't remember the schedule on that. I could probably look that up, but that's something else that as people see that take effect, that may change some thoughts in the area. It's I'm sorry, I'm pausing because I'm looking. It's one of those things that it's really hard to see. In Inglewood, they've got a CRA over there, and they've been trying to get things going for quite some time, and it's really been a slow process. But there are things starting to take shape there as well, and I think that that there's a relatively good push. Although you do have those folks that are very concerned about property values going up, from one perspective, because then they have to pay more in taxes because the values are higher, and then you have others that want to see the property values go up because they want to see their investment improve in their home. So
and people outside of Parkside would like to see the property values there go up so that they could pay back the money.
That's really a big deal, because the
TIF funding.
The TIF funding is something that, yes, and I think that with the significant improvements that the hospitals are going to make, that will, and I hope, bring along with it other types of improvements. And there are a couple of new houses over there. There's a new house. It's right off of it might be on Elkham. I can't remember now, but it's a relatively new one, and there's another one in there. So hopefully, with some of these being taken down, you'll see some new ones going up. Obviously, they're going to be more modest. They're not going to be a $300,000 home, but they're nice homes. And as you see these things start to develop and start to improve, hopefully that will improve the overall situation there. Rents aren't really that cheap, I don't think. Some of those houses in there are probably renting from $400 to $600 a month, which doesn't seem outrageous, but it does seem to be cheaper than a lot of areas over in Rotunda and East Inglewood and things like that I'm used to seeing, where you're probably $650 and up.
Closer to $1,000, yeah.
Yes. So and $1,000 is probably more likely now with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath than it was 2 years ago. So Parkside is obviously, I think Commissioner Duffy is much more in touch with that Parkside project than I am, but I am trying to monitor it, and I do have a lot of folks who come to me, and they have concerns on both sides. Not moving fast enough, and also doing too much from a government perspective.
I think there's a misperception, because after Charlie with the Punta Gorda CRA, they had so much money, coming in through insurance and government grants and everything else, that they were able to get a lot done in a short amount of time. Right. But that was due to a hurricane, and I don't think that we don't want that to necessitate the funding of Parkside.
No, you don't want that, and you also don't want it to be preempted with the need for eminent domain to make it happen either. Because when I heard, and you can't, thank goodness, anymore. But when I first heard about Parkside, and I was trying to learn when it was in its very early stages, I was very skeptical as to how this was going to take place. And I'm seeing it, and of course the laws changed from when Murdoch Village was done. So from that perspective it's safe, but I still was very skeptical. It's something that you have to be guarded against. At the same time, I think it's an area that needs some infusion And I think that the TIF financing is a good way to go. It would be great if we could find some grant money out there that would offset some of our costs, and maybe that'll happen. But you know, sometimes grants come with strings that you don't want to be tied to.
Indeed, indeed. We got a caller here. Hi, you're on the air.